Microsoft sent me an early build of Halo Infinite's single-player campaign in which I have over 10 hours of playtime in. This is what I'm allowed to tell you, this is what I'm allowed to show you, and these are my 100% honest thoughts. Enjoy. Hey, first and foremost, I gotta give a shout out to everybody that said this game did not look good. This is an early build of the game, months ahead of release, and it still managed to come out looking this good. At least in most areas, this game looks phenomenal, running at a smooth 60 FPS in an open world. I did test this on the Xbox Series X and S, and I can tell you they hold up brilliantly, even on a game that was developed partially during a pandemic, while also having no shortage of woes. There was a delay, there was some controversy with some of the visuals. They've come back strong, and I can say that with the narrative, I am very, very delighted to say that I am more engrossed in this one than I have been any other 343 narrative, and probably any Halo narrative already since Halo 2. Now keep in mind, this is only about 10 hours or so of the game. I am running around doing things in open world, experiencing the game as I would, and I can tell you so far, I am really liking some of the cinematic moments, some of the more human moments. They managed to humanize Master Chief while maintaining that mystique of, hey, this guy runs around, he does what he has to do to get the job done, and he takes very few prisoners, if any at all, while seemingly fighting for the right cause. Now, everybody wants to know, is the game going to be any good? There's a lot of questions surrounding the development of this title, and I wanted to tackle that first. I am enjoying the narrative. That does not mean that you will. That means that I am enjoying the narrative. I do not know how this game ends. I can only speak to what I've played, and what I've played is some of the most humanized, most story-driven, most emotional moments I've seen in a Halo game. Doesn't mean there's 3-hour cutscenes. It doesn't mean there's 20-minute cutscenes. It means that what's on screen when there is narrative is more impactful. They have gone the extra mile to inject that emotion and the real context of war from people that do and do not want to be there, facing circumstances beyond Master Chief's control. So, as these are my impressions of the story so far are good. I like what I'm seeing, I like what I'm hearing, and I like that 343 are putting that extra effort into bringing that extra layer of humanity to both Master Chief and the surrounding conflict. So, more narrative, more impactful narrative, and of course, you experience the sad side of war, if you will, stumbling upon the corpses of your fallen Spartans, and even gaining some new abilities from them. Yes, Master Chief is a corpse robber. Jokes aside, there are some definite darker moments in this Halo game. You do see Spartans die, you see Spartans that have been tortured, and you do seek retribution. It does make everything you do in this world feel more impactful. But hey, combat is a big part of that, and it feels absolutely phenomenal. As many of you know from the open multiplayer, it's great. Well, that does carry over to the story, and you do get a bit more experience with more of the weapons. You kind of see where they come from, which units use them. Look, guys, the combat is awesome. I find myself doing extraordinary things on the most unextraordinary days in Halo Infinite, and I find myself doing that in the campaign all the time. Really cool combos involving the grapple shot, grenades, double melees, headshots, while jumping through the air. I don't know what they've done with the controls in this game, but it's just really easy to execute, to mind will yourself to do something really awesome. It just happens, at least for me, and I think that's the experience a lot of you will have playing Halo Infinite's multiplayer and the single player especially. Now, co-op is not here in Halo Infinite, at least not right now. It is supposed to be in the game around May, I do believe, of 2022, which is quite the wait. And I have to confess that I found myself thinking multiple times with the open world nature of this game, with how fun it is to take these forward operating bases from the Banished, right? Receive upgrades, receive new weapons, receive vehicles, and even some of the mission design in the game is set up for what seems like 2 people. I would say it is a bummer. It's a definite bummer. But am I not having a blast doing some of these things solo, yes, of course I'm having a blast. Would I have had a bigger blast doing it with a friend? Yes, absolutely. But at the end of the day, it doesn't diminish my hype. I am absolutely enjoying the game. I can't wait for the co-op. It is a necessity, and I think since the preview build I'm playing now does not support achievements, there's no record of me even playing this game on my gamer card, I'll probably wait until the co-op hits to run through it a second time and get those achievements then. In the meantime, I will be continuing to take outposts and hunt high-value targets in Halo Infinite. Yes, there are HVTs, and some of these guys are pretty hard to take down, but if you do manage to do so, you get a really cool, unique weapon that you can then use. We've all taken over bases, surprisingly big bases in Halo Infinite, and hunted high-value targets on an open-world map, but something about the Halo Infinite formula, something about the Halo universe, being surrounded and having these mechanics within this title, even single player, it's just something about it makes it so much more fun. Again, that's in addition to the campaign, and you can do side missions, HVT contracts, and more at your whim. So to recap on the gameplay, I find it nearly addicting because I'm doing so many cool things constantly that I never really found myself doing in other first-person shooters, at least commonly. And I'm talking about those cool grapple shot, headshot, grenade throws, those melee takedowns, the way everything melds, it's cohesive, and it's very consistent. You can do these things consistently in the game, and you just feel like you are really a Spartan. You feel very powerful. Now, part of that is due to Spartan cores, and these are found throughout the open world, taking over bases, going and exploring the map. You can find Spartan cores, and you can use these to upgrade your grapple shot, your boosters, and more. The feeling of power in Halo Infinite's campaign is so addicting that I actually would like more of it. I would like more power 343. I would like to be able to have boosters, perhaps maybe on a double jump, and also keep my grapple shot equipped at the same time, because as it stands, they have a kind of quite weird way of equipping different upgrades or perks, if you will. Grapple shot, booster, you've got a shield you can deploy. All of these things are done with the D-pad, or at least one button on the D-pad followed by a different direction on the D-pad instead of just a single button and a radio wheel, or just allowing you to have all these things at once. And I get you can be OP, but that's what I like about the game. At least in the single player, I want to be able to have those thrusters and that grapple hook at the same time, but currently that is not the case. A small complaint, but only because it works so well. You just want more of it. Something else I would say is a more serious complaint is the map itself and the way that you actually get to objectives. You'll find while traversing that there are massive chasms on this ring that you cannot get across, and you need to go sometimes way out of your way, and you do not always have a vehicle nearby. At least for me, I found this to be an inconvenience, and it happened more than once. Hey, plan accordingly. Always have a Warthog, always have some kind of vehicle with you, and when you do get access to the flying vehicles, it's less of a hassle. But when you first start the game, you will notice this. Speaking of traversal, you will do much of it, and along the way you will encounter mini bosses throughout the campaign, things that I can't show you or even really talk to you in depth about, not until my actual full review. Just know that Halo Infinite has more challenges than any Halo game. They are quite fun, and they do offer different varieties of gameplay, different tactics to be required, and you must adjust accordingly. I found myself fighting a ton of really cool battles, really cool little mini bosses, and I feel like a lot of you will enjoy this as well. It's a nice change of pace, and it does make you feel like you've just accomplished something more often than perhaps running around, hitting some buttons, taking on some regular enemies. They do offer more in-depth challenges there. I would also maybe make some tweaks to the AI and how accurate they are with some of their shots, especially from extremely long distances. If they can see you, they're probably shooting at you. But other than that, as far as the gameplay goes, as far as the mechanics go, that's pretty much the length of my complaints. I am enjoying my time in Halo Infinite thus far. I cannot wait to get further in the story with the more updated review build of the game, and of course, that multiplayer is always there as well, which has to be factored in to my overall review closer to the game's release. So, let me know your thoughts on this title. If you played the multiplayer, are you excited for the campaign? I know that I've been having a blast with it, and I can honestly say maybe this will be controversial by the time the ending of the game comes around. Maybe some of you play the game and you don't see it, but for me personally, because of Halo Infinite, I can say I am more of a Halo fan than ever. And that does include the multiplayer, which is fantastic. Again, that's as of right now, well before the game's full release, and I will have a full review before release as well, where I can discuss more of the story beats and give it a bigger, better, broader idea as to why I'm enjoying the narrative more, or maybe not as much by the time I beat the game. I have no idea, so stay tuned for that. Do me a favor and hit the like button on this video if you enjoyed the video. Tell a friend about the game and this channel. It really helps more than you know. Have them subscribe, tell a family member, and of course, let me know your thoughts again down below as we do go into more and more first-party Xbox games releasing. It's a great time to be a gamer, and the Xbox Series X is the console to bring you those games at immaculate fidelity, especially once we get more and more of these features being used by the box. I cannot wait. It's a great time to be a gamer. So I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great Thanksgiving break for those of you in the States, and those outside the States. I'm sure you guys eat food as well. Have a good snack, whatever you guys enjoy doing over this time of the year. And hey, just know that I appreciate you, all the patrons, all the channel members. You guys are absolutely fantastic. So I can't say enough great things about you guys. I will be making more and more content after Thanksgiving break. I've got this room padded out and all that good stuff. It should be pretty awesome. So once more, I'm Dealer. I will talk to you guys in the next one. I'm out.